Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Very warm welcome to my vlog series. In this new episode, today we will be discussing the history and the architecture of Muhammad bin Harun's tomb located at Las Bela in Balochistan, Pakistan. Dear viewers, this tomb has been assigned to the 11th century of the Christian era uh, and seems to be a very old one. The tomb has been on the architectural style dated by Ahmad Nabi Khan in his publications. That is the naked brick architecture in Pakistan, which he published in the Ancient Pakistan, volume number 23, 1987-88. Apart from this, in numerous other publication, this tomb has been dated and assigned to the 11th century of the Christian era. Now, question arises that who was Muhammad bin Harun? It is generally believed that he came here along with the army of Muhammad bin Qasim, whereas in other tradition it is mentioned that he was one of the generals who came here and was martyred during the war against the non-believers. And likewise, in some others, it is mentioned that Muhammad bin Harun was a governor appointed by one of the Umayyad Caliph during the 8th century of the Christian era. So, dear viewers, keeping in view such questions, queries, and traditions, keeping in mind, today we will be discussing who was Muhammad bin Harun and during which particular time and under whose domain he was sent to control the government and in which particular part of Balochistan. In this process, during the different phase of time, various scholars, biographers, historians, geographers who came to this part of the world during the domain of Umayyad Caliphate, particularly in the time of Hazrat Amir Mawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and later on in the time of Abdul Malik bin Marwan, and furthermore under the rule of Walid bin Abdul Malik. As we know all that one of the celebrated governors of Umayyad domain, who is generally supposed to be a very cruel person, however, a very competent administrator who was assigned the task to control the affairs of Hejaz in 692 of the Christian era, which he very successfully continued until 696 of the Christian era. However, at Kufa and at Iraq, the Khawarij issues arises and they gave tough time to the governor of these areas, Muhallib, who was the governor. So Abdul Malik bin Marwan has given the task to control such issues which were very worse as far as the administration is concerned. So Hajjaj bin Yusuf was transferred and was appointed as the governor of Kufa, Iraq, or the eastern provinces. He was also assigned to rule over those important areas which the Umayyad Caliphate conquered and though the Irani territories were conquered in the time of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the second great pious caliph. Uh, However, later on, the Umayyads also have inroads inside Iran. So those areas were also assigned under the governorship of Hajjaj bin Yusuf. Dear viewers, during different phase of time, as I mentioned, that the eminent people who came here and they recorded different historical references regarding the different governors who were assigned the task to control the administrative affairs on behalf of the Umayyad Caliphate. Since Makran was conquered during the Hazrat Amir Mawiya radiallahu ta'ala anhu, particularly in the time of Hajjaj bin Yusuf. The Umayyad Caliphate, they were generally nominating the governors over the Makran area to have the Umayyad rule very successfully. Dear viewers, as I told you that the Umayyad Caliphate, who nominated their governors and administrators as well journals and were sent to those areas which they conquered and came under their sway, such as Egypt, uh, as well in Khorasan, in the different part of Central Asia, Afghanistan, the Anatolia, the present day Turkey, and as well to those areas which were conquered in the time of Hazrat Amir Mawiya, particularly in the Irani area. Though Iran was most part of Iran was captured in the time of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the second great pious caliph. Uh, Yet there were so many areas which were not conquered at that particular time, were conquered in the time of Hazrat Amir Mawiya radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he nominated Hajjaj bin Yusuf, the governor of eastern provinces. During this phase of time, Makran was conquered by them, and governors were appointed, and they were ruling on behalf of the Umayyad Caliphate, and under the supervision of governor, generals were sent to control the area. In this process, dear viewers, during the time of Abdul Malik bin Marwan, who came as a caliph of the Umayyad domain in 685-86 of the Christian era, and who ruled until 705 of the Christian era. Hajjaj bin Yusuf was advised, and he was suggested to send governors over Makran. In this process, Sayyid bin Aslam Kelabi was the governor of Makran, a part of Balochistan, and he was given deputy governor. His name has been recorded as Muja bin Sar Tamimi, and alongside a new general of army was appointed, and his name has been recorded in the different sources as Khurram bin Umar, and both of them were sent in around about 704 of the Christian era. Dear viewers, as I told you that all these informations have been collected from different sources like Fatuhul Baldan of Baladuri, a very eminent writer. Besides, in the Fatah-Nama Sindh and in the Chachnama of Kalich Beg, apart from these important books, Tarikh-e Sindh and Kitab al-Mamalik wal-Masalik, and likewise in so many other important books compiled by the eminent historians during their visit, and they recorded, and from such record we collected all these historical references, which I will share with you to tell you the exact picture of Islamic invasion and Islamic rule over the Makran, and later on the invasion over the Sindh. Thus, Muja bin Sad Tamimi, when he came to Makran, he became the deputy governor alongside the Saeed bin Aslam Kilabi, who was the governor, whereas the actual general of army under Saeed bin Aslam Kilabi was Binana bin Hamzala. Now, Binana bin Hamzala became the deputy general of army, whereas the newcomer, as I discussed with you, who came alongside Muja bin Sar Tamimi, was Khurram bin Umar. Now, Khurram bin Umar became the new general of Islamic army, whereas Binana bin Hamzala became his deputy commander. Viewers, the governor who was controlling these areas through his commanders and the assistant commanders and deputy commanders, he was supposed to collect the poll tax from the non-Muslims, and annually they were collecting. So Said bin Aslam Kelabi, when he has been to Panjgur, this area was ruled by the Muslims who escaped, or who escaped their lives from Hajjaj bin Yusuf cruelty, or who, when revolted, and they came here, they settled here, and they were being supported or favored or helped by Raja Dahir. So Said bin Aslam Tamimi, he visited to collect the poll tax, and instead of giving him the poll tax, the Panjgur army killed him. And when this news came to the Hajjaj bin Yusuf, and later on to the Caliph Abdul Malik bin Marwan, so Muja bin Sar Tamimi was appointed as governor, and this event happened around 705 of the Christian era. Later on, Khurram bin Umar, he started his campaigns against the different powers. To tell you briefly that the area of Makran and its neighborhoods, which were controlled by the Muslims, were surrounded by the five great powers. For example, Kerman area, part of Iran, the was controlled by the Sasanians, the Zoroastrians, particularly their chieftain was Nirmesh, and he was opposing the Muslims to take revenge from the Muslims. He was seeking the support of Raja Dahir. Next to him was the state of Panjgur. This area was occupied by the rebellions, or those who escaped their lives. They were actually Muslims, but they were also seeking support and favor from Raja Dahir, which supported these rebels. The third one was the Nerunkot state, and this Nerunkot area, they were Buddhist. However, they surrendered, and they were paying politics to the Muslims. And the Narayankot people, they were Buddhist, and their ruler was a very gentle person. His name has been recorded as Sundar Das. Whereas the fourth power can be divided into two parts. The one controlling the coastal area up to the Debel, the present day Bambor, were the pirates, and they were generally known as the Nakara tribes, whereas those areas which were also part of the coastal area were Buddhist, and Wanga was one of their chieftain. However, Wanga, the Buddhist ruler of this area, was one of the allies of the Sundar Das, the Narayankot ruler. Narayankot is the ancient name of the present day Hyderabad. Whereas the fifth power from Debel up to Rodi and beyond was controlled and was much powerful state, and this state was established by Raja Dahir. Dear viewers, Aror, the present day Rohri, was the capital city, and to tell you a few more about the Raja Dahir, this was a Brahman dynasty, and actually this dynasty started their government in 652 of the Christian era, when the one of their chieftain, Church, who who snatched government from the Buddhist Rai dynasty, and he started his government during 652 of the Christian era, and Aror was established his capital city. He ruled until 692 of the Christian era, when he died. His brother Chanda became the ruler. However, Chanda ruling for a few years, then he gave away the government to the two brothers or the sons of Chach, that is Raja Dahir and Dahir Sen. So later on, the whole government was divided between the two brothers, that is Raja Dahir and Dahir Sen. However, within 2 year span of time, both these states were united, and Raja Dahir became the lonely ruler of Brahman dynasty. It happened in 699 of the Christian era. So this was the overall details or information that how Makran was surrounded. The Raja Dahir was actually trying to support Haris bin Elafi, the who escaped his life and was Muslim. So all the Muslim rebellions, or those who were not considering favorable circumstances for themselves, so they escaped their life at Panjgur. And apart from this, Raja Dahir was also supporting the pirates as well, the Makran Zoroastrians, the Kirman Zoroastrians, in order to secure himself against the Muslim invasion. Dear viewers, to tell you the uh, person of our interest or under discussion, that is Muhammad bin Harun. So, dear viewers, when Muja bin Sar Tamimi, the governor of Makran, was died because of illness. So Hajjaj bin Yusuf, with the permission of Walid bin Abdul Malik, who replaced his father Abdul Malik bin Marwan in 705 of the Christian era. So Muhammad bin Harun Namri was sent as a governor in 708 of the Christian era to control the administrative affair of Makran and its surrounding territories. Viewers, to tell you something about Khurram bin Umar, a very courageous person and has got immense knowledge and a very humble person, a very pious person, and a very talented journal of Islamic Army who uh, 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 invaded over Kirman, severely punished the Zoroastrians. Haris Elafi was also defeated by him, and Wanga surrendered before him. Khurram bin Umar very successfully on so many occasions defeated the Nakara pirate tribes and furthermore strengthen good ties with the Sundar Das of Nerinkot. His bravery and his fighting skills were so significant, and he gained a lot of popularity within the Makran as well in the surrounding territories because of his sincerity, because of his passions, because of his sincerity, and gain a lot of popularity among the people. Dear viewers, furthermore, to tell you that around 710 of the Christian era, or might be a little later, one one incident was taken place on the port of Debel, that is Bambor, that the Nakara pirates looted one of the ship in which the king of Sarandib, the present day Sri Lanka, some gifts and some of the passengers who were going for Umrah or Hajj, and there were some gifts for the governor Hajjaj bin Yusuf as well for the Caliph Walid bin Abdul Malik. The Nakara pirate chieftain, and he shared all the looted jewelry, money, and other valuable gifts with Raja Dahir, and he put in jail the different people which they arrested, and very cruelly they were behaved with cruelty. Dear viewers, it was in 711 of the Christian era that when Hajjaj bin Yusuf finally decided to invade over the Sindh, and a very trained contingent of army was sent, and Muhammad bin Harun Namari was told to help during his campaigns against the Raja Dahir. Viewers, when Muhammad bin Qasim arrived, Imaduddin Muhammad bin Qasim, when he arrived, So Huraim bin Umar became his deputy commander, and Muhammad bin Qasim was the commander in chief. The first phase of their campaign, they invaded over Panjgur, and very successfully that was conquered by them. They stayed there for a few days, and then their next step was to invade over Arman Bela or Arma Bela, the present day Las Bela. During the campaign of Panjgur and its surrounding, Muhammad bin Harun Namari, who was a very aged person, but he was desiring and forcing to be part of the jihad, the invasion. So when they invaded Arman Bela or Arma Bela, the present day Las Bela, uh, uh, very successfully they conquered this area, but Muhammad bin Harun, who was ill, and because of illness which was getting day by day so serious, and finally he died. Historical references are telling us that when Muhammad bin Harun Namari died, he was buried at Las Bela. Dear viewers, it is very significant to make a mention here that when Muhammad bin Harun Namari died and was buried here, this tomb, the question arises here that whether the building was erected at that time or it was constructed at a later date. Dear viewers, there is no such reference regarding the building erected at then when he died and buried over there. In the beginning, simple grave was constructed or raised. However, the tomb building was constructed at a later date. Dear viewers, as far as tomb architecture is concerned, the earliest tomb building or mausoleum was constructed at Samarra in 862 of the Christian era over the grave of Mutasim Billah, who died in 862 of the Christian era. This was one of the earliest Islamic period tomb, and from there, due to the cultural interaction and because of the Islamization over Iran, at Iran, different tombs were constructed at Samiran in Iran, which are generally dated to the 9th and 10th of the Christian era. The tombs at Samiran are dome tomb, and it is believed that during the 11th century of the Christian era, this style entered from Iran into the Balochistan, and the first ever dome tomb was constructed over the deceased body of Muhammad bin Harun Namari. I've narrated the whole story with the recorded traditions and references regarding the Makran, which was ruled as a governor by Muhammad bin Harun Namari, and his commander-in-chief was Huraim bin Umar. So, as we have been told in the historical accounts, that the first Arab invaders who conquered or led the Islamic government in Sindh, in the present day Pakistan, was one of the Arab generals named as Imaduddin Muhammad bin Qasim. So actually the story is or the fact based story is that Huraim bin Umar alongside Binana bin Hamzala. They were the commander-in-chief and deputy commander-in-chief under the different governors who were nominated by the Umayyad Caliphate. So the Makran was the first area which was conquered by the Arab army, and this was successfully ruled by the Muslims. So, dear viewers, just in front of you is this very significant tomb. You have just watched the video. Now in front of you is the tomb of Muhammad bin Harun Namari, dated to the 11th century AD. And this tomb is a square chamber constructed from bricks. And this is one of the finest example of naked brick architecture. Very unfortunately, the local government has plastered it, and this is one of the entrances in the form of a arch, and this is first of its kind. You can see the cusp arch, and the spandrels you can see are beautified, whereas the top of this archway you can see the denticulate pattern, one of the local tradition which can be seen in plentiful number in the temple architecture in the Salt Range and in the tomb of Dir Khan, which have been used in the Lal Mala Sharif, dated to the 11th century AD. And this is the Mihrab pattern. You have just watched that inside the Mihrab beautiful designs were made through the cut and dressed brick work technique. Dear viewers, the four corners or the four angles or the diagonals are provided this sort of squinches rising from the floor. Inside there are pendentives, and these pendentives are provided in the form of bricks and a supporting element giving support to the superstructure alongside these squinches, and four arches or squinches were provided or are provided at the cardinal point, which are false in order. So at this particular point, now you are watching one of the other. This is the domical ceiling. So the square is converted into octagon by means of these arch squinches and supported by means of pendentives, corner pendentives, and making a perfect base for the circular rim of the dome, and thus the dome was raised through the carbelling technique. So right now you are watching, and this is the entrance. So dear viewers, one of the major platform conquering the Sindh, Khurram bin Umar alongside Muhammad bin Qasim has played a very vital role, and as the Muhammad. Now dear viewers, to conclude the matter here, from the historical record, it appears the first ever invasion and conquest of Pakistan during the Arab phase of time, particularly under the Umayyads' rule, was over the Makran, which was conquered by them, and here a governor was nominated. Thus Makran was the conquered province of Umayyad domain. Whereas, as we have been told, that the first conquest of Sindh was made under Imaduddin Muhammad bin Qasim, is actually the second conquest which was under the command of Muhammad bin Qasim, and his deputy commander-in-chief was Khurram bin Umar, and up to Multan, the whole area was subjugated and was conquered. Here too, governor was appointed. So this was the whole story. Dear viewers, we need to conserve and preserve the tomb of Muhammad bin Harun Namari for the generation to come. So I will request the concerned authorities, they do something for the preservation and conservation of this magnificent and one of the earliest tomb in the history of tomb architecture in Pakistan. So thank you, bye-bye, God bless you, and do watch my vlogs and share it and like it. Thank you, God bless you, stay blessed, bye-bye.